If you're 62 or older, or if you have a parent or grandparent who is, what I am about to tell you in the next few minutes could mean an extra $2,400 deposited directly into your bank account. And before you scroll past this thinking it sounds too good to be true, I need you to understand something important. This is not a rumor. This is not a proposal sitting in committee, somewhere waiting to be voted on. Congress has already approved this. The funding has already been allocated. The list of eligible recipients already exists inside a government database right now. The only question is whether your name is on it and whether you know how to check. The seniors who are going to miss this payment are not going to miss it because they were ineligible. They are going to miss it because they did not know to look, did not check the right database, or waited too long to take the simple steps required to confirm their eligibility and ensure their payment is correctly processed and delivered. I'm going to walk you through exactly what this payment is, exactly who qualifies, exactly how the list works, and exactly what you need to do today to make sure you do not become one of the millions of eligible seniors who never receives a dollar of this money simply because they did not know it existed. Stay with me through the entire video because the step I am covering at the end is the one that most seniors skip, and that is the single most common reason. A payment that should have arrived never does. Share this right now with every senior in your life before you watch another second. If their name is on the list and they do not check, the payment does not come to them automatically in every case. One share takes 3 seconds. You could put $2,400 in the pocket of someone who needs it. Share it now and come back. What this payment is and where it comes from. The $2,400 payment I am describing is the result of a combination of provisions in recently passed federal legislation that specifically directed additional financial support toward lower and middle income seniors through 2 separate funding mechanisms that together produce the $2,400 figure for eligible recipients. The first mechanism is an expansion of the Social Security cost of living adjustment supplemental payment that was included in budget reconciliation. Legislation passed in the most recent congressional session. This supplemental payment is specifically targeted at Social Security beneficiaries whose monthly benefit falls below a threshold that reflects the actual cost of living increases seniors have experienced over the past 3 years. The gap between the official COLA adjustments applied to Social Security benefits and the actual inflation experienced by seniors, which is disproportionately driven by health care. Costs, prescription drug prices, and housing expenses that rise faster than the general inflation index used to calculate COLA has been a documented and persistent problem. The supplemental payment is designed to partially address that gap for the seniors most affected by it. The second mechanism is a one-time senior economic stabilization credit that was included in the same legislation and that functions as a refundable tax credit for qualifying seniors who file or have filed a federal tax return within the applicable period. The credit is structured to reach seniors who did not benefit fully from prior economic relief measures and who meet specific income criteria that I am going to describe in detail. Together, these 2 components produce a total payment of up to $2,400 for seniors who qualify for both. Some seniors will qualify for one component but not the other and will receive a smaller amount. The $2,400 figure represents the maximum combined payment for a fully eligible individual recipient. Who is on the list? The list I am referring to is not a single government document you can look up by typing in your name. It is a reference to the eligibility database the Social Security Administration and the IRS are jointly using to identify and process payments to qualifying seniors. Understanding who populates that database is how you determine whether you are on it. For the Social Security supplemental payment component, eligibility is based on 3 criteria. First, you must be currently receiving Social Security retirement, survivor, or disability benefits. Second, your monthly benefit amount must fall below the threshold established in the legislation, which is set at 185% of the federal poverty level for your household size. For a single individual in 2026, that threshold is approximately $2,730 per month in total Social Security income. For a married couple, it is approximately $3,160 per month combined. Third, you must have been continuously enrolled in Medicare Part B for at least 12 consecutive months as of the legislation's effective date. For the Senior Economic Stabilization Credit component, eligibility is based on your most recently filed federal tax return. Specifically, single filers with adjusted gross income below $23,000 and married couples filing jointly with adjusted gross income below $34,000 who are 62 or older as of December 31st of the applicable tax year qualify for the full credit amount. There's a partial credit phase-out that extends eligibility at reduced amounts up to $31,000 for single filers and $44,000 for joint filers. The seniors most likely to qualify for both components simultaneously are those receiving modest Social Security benefits, enrolled in Medicare Part B with low to moderate total household income. This describes a very large portion of the American senior population. Independent analyses of the legislation estimate that between 18 and 24 million seniors meet the combined eligibility criteria, making this one of the broadest senior-directed payment programs in recent memory. Why your payment might not arrive without action. Here's the part that most coverage of this payment leaves out entirely, and that is the most practically important thing I can tell you. For seniors whose information in the Social Security Administration and IRS systems is current, accurate, and consistent, the payment processing is largely automatic. The agencies cross-reference their databases, identify eligible recipients, and route payments either to the bank account on file or to the address of record. But there are 4 specific situations in which an eligible senior will not automatically receive their payment without taking action. The first situation is outdated banking information. If you have changed bank accounts since the last time you received a direct deposit from either the SCA or the IRS, and you have not updated your direct deposit information with both agencies, your payment will either go to a closed account and be returned, or it will be mailed as a check to your address of record, which creates delay and increases the risk of non-delivery. The second situation is a mismatch between SSA and IRS records. If the name, Social Security number, or address on file with the IRS does not exactly match the information on file with the SSA, the automated cross-reference process flags your record for manual review. Manual review cases take significantly longer to process, and in some cases result in the payment being held until the discrepancy is resolved. The third situation applies to seniors who are eligible for the tax credit component, but who do not regularly file a federal tax return because their income falls below the filing threshold. If you did not file a 2024 or 2025 tax return, the IRS does not have a current return on file to use as the basis for the credit payment. In this situation, you may need to file a simple return specifically to trigger the credit, similar to what was required for some non-filers during prior stimulus payment rounds. The fourth situation involves seniors who recently moved or who have an address on file with either agency that does not reflect their current residence. Payments mailed to an old address are not automatically forwarded by the Postal Service after a certain period, and recovering a payment sent to the wrong address requires contacting the issuing agency, which adds weeks or months to the process. What you need to do today. The steps are simple, they are free, and they need to happen this week. Go to ssa.gov and log into your My Social Security account. Verify that your address and direct deposit information are completely current. If anything has changed since you last updated it, correct it now before payment processing begins. Go to irs.gov and log into your IRS online account. Verify that your address and bank account information match your SSA records exactly. If you see any discrepancy in how your name or address appears across these 2 accounts, contact both agencies to standardize the information. If you have not filed a federal tax return for 2024 or 2025 because your income was below the filing threshold, contact AEPM free tax preparation service such as AARP Tax Aid or the IRS Vitae program this week, and ask whether filing a simple return is necessary to receive the Senior Economic Stabilization Credit component of this payment. Both services are free to seniors with low and moderate incomes. If you are unsure whether your Social Security benefit amount falls below the threshold for the supplemental payment component, call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 and ask a representative to confirm your eligibility status under the recent supplemental payment legislation. Congress approved this payment. The money has been allocated. The eligibility list exists. Whether your name is effectively on that list in a way that results in a check or deposit arriving at the right place at the right time depends entirely on whether your information in both government systems is current, consistent, and complete. That verification takes less than 30 minutes. The potential result is $2,400. Do it today. Share this with every senior you know right now. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a payment, a deadline, or a benefit that affects your retirement income. A like costs nothing and helps this reach the millions of seniors who need it before this payment window closes. Know what you're owed, verify your information, and we will see you in the next one.